How are you guys doing? Today is Thursday, October 21st, 2021. I'm James Sims, and for this episode of The Elite, I'm going to review the Elite matchups and performances from yesterday, Wednesday, October 20th. And of course, I'm going to preview everything that's going on today as we navigate through the world of sports one day at a time. Just taking a look at where we are in the 2021 year, the MLB season is coming to a close as there are 4 teams remaining that are competing in the National League and the American League Champions League series. And it is very possible that 2 teams can be eliminated tonight, as many people are going to keep their eyes on baseball at this time of year. Also, at the same time, the NFL and college football are well underway as they're in the middle of their seasons. The NBA season just got started a couple of days ago. And then in terms of soccer, the Champions League group stage is now halfway done. I'm going to follow this episode up with a review of what went down. But of course, with that said, I'm going to jump into the MLB first. Taking a look at what's been going on there, starting off in Los Angeles, it was Game 4 of the National League Championship Series. The Atlanta Braves came into the series leading 2-1, and the Braves were able to beat the Dodgers 9-2 to get one game closer to the World Series. Taking a look at how the scoring went for both teams, the Braves would start the scoring in the top of the second with solo home runs from Eddie Rosario and Adam Duvall. That put the Braves up 2-0. In the top of the third, Freddie Freeman would hit a solo home run to give the Braves a 3-0 lead, and Jock Peterson's RBI single would make it 4-0. In the top of the fifth, Adam Duvall's sacrifice fly would make it 5-0 Braves. The Dodgers' their only scoring play of the game will come off of a 2-run single from A.J. Pollock in the bottom of the fifth to make it 5-2 Braves. And then in the top of the ninth, Freddie Freeman's ground rule double would bring Dansby Swanson home to make it a 4-run game. And Eddie Rosario would hit a 4-run home run to give the Braves the win that they needed to get one game closer. Taking a look at how the Dodgers fared in this matchup, the loss would go to their starting pitcher, Julio Urias. Urias allowed 5 earned runs in 5 innings pitched as he struck out 3. With his loss, he's 0-1. In the Dodgers batting lineup, nobody on the team would finish with more than 1 hit, and a lot of that can be attributed to great pitching for the Atlanta Braves. The start was given to Jesse Chavez. Chavez allowed no earned runs in the first inning. The win was given to the Braves' first relief pitcher, Drew Smyly. Smyly allowed 2 earned runs in 3.1 innings. He would strike out 2 before getting pulled in the 5th inning. With his win, he's now 1-0. In the Braves batting lineup, their elite first baseman and reigning National League MVP, Freddie Freeman, went 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs and 2 runs. He would go on to hit his first home run of this series. Their left fielder, Eddie Rosario, will go 4 for 5 with 4 RBIs and 3 runs as he hit 2 home runs yesterday. Not to mention, Adam Duvall would end up going 1 for 3 with 2 RBIs and a run as he hit his first home run of this series as well. And then Travis d'Arnaud, their catcher, would end up going 2 for 4. With this win, the Atlanta Braves now hold a 3-1 series lead over the Los Angeles Dodgers as one more win, even tonight, would punch their ticket to the World Series. Taking a look at what went down in the American League Championship Series, yesterday was Game 5 in Fenway, the last game that was going to be played in Boston. Coming into this matchup, the series was tied at 2. So going in, this was a best-of-3 matchup for either team to see who was going to make it out. And the Astros were able to beat the Red Sox 9-1. Taking a look at how the scoring went for both teams, Yordan Alvarez gave the Astros the first lead of the game with a solo home run in the top of the second. And then in the top of the 6th, Yordan Alvarez's double would bring 2 more home, make it 3-0. Yuli Gurriel's double would bring the Astros' 4th run home. And then Jose Siri would hit a 2-run single to finish out the 5-run 6th inning to make it 6-0 Astros. In the top of the 7th, Michael Brantley's single would make it 7-0. At the bottom of the 7th, Rafael Devers' solo home run would give the Red Sox the only run of the game. And then Yuli Gurriel's 2-run single would give the Astros what they needed for their 8-run win. For the Red Sox in this matchup, the loss went to their elite starting pitcher, Chris Sale. Sale allowed 4 runs in 5.1 innings as he struck out 7. With this loss, he's 0-1. In the Red Sox batting lineup, their all-star third baseman, Rafael Devers, went 2 for 3 with an RBI and a run. For the Houston Astros, the win went to their starting pitcher, Framber Valdez. Valdez allowed only 1 earned run and 3 hits in 8 innings as he struck out 5. With this win, Framber Valdez is 1-0 in the playoffs in the American League Championship Series. In the Astros batting lineup, their left fielder, Michael Brantley, went 2 for 5 with an RBI and a run. Their designated hitter, Yordan Alvarez, went 3 for 5 with 3 RBIs and 2 runs. He hit his first home run of the series. Their first baseman, Yuli Gurriel, would end up going 3 for 5 with 3 RBIs and a run. With this win, the Houston Astros now hold a 3-2 series lead over the Boston Red Sox. One more win for them in the next 3 games would result in, or I guess in the next 2 games, would result in them advancing to the World Series, a place that they are very familiar with. So, of course, that is what baseball is looking like going into today. Today will only have today will be Game 5 of the NLCS as the Astros-Red Sox series continues tomorrow. The the defending World Series Dodgers are fighting for their playoff lives, as one more loss would mean that they were eliminated from playoff contention, and it means that the Braves can punch their tickets to the World Series today. So, of course, many eyes are going to be on that. Taking a look at what's going on with football, the only football game that took place yesterday in the States took place in college football as the 14th ranked Coastal Carolina Chanticleers went to Appalachian State to face off against the Mountaineers. And 14th state of Coastal Carolina would fall just short of Appalachian State thanks to a game-winning field goal kicked at the last second from 24 yards away from Staten. For the 14th ranked Coastal Carolina Chanticleers, their starting quarterback, Grayson McCall, would throw for 291 yards and a touchdown. The Chanticleers' leading receiver was Javon Haley. He had 103 yards on 6 receptions, and Cameron Brown had 98 yards on 3 receptions as he had a receiving touchdown for himself. On the defensive side of the ball, Teddy Gallagher from Loyola, from my high school, would end up leading the Chanticleers in tackles as he had 11 of them. For the unranked Appalachian State Mountaineers, their starting quarterback, Chase Bryce, threw for 347 yards and 2 touchdowns. He also ran for 34 yards, which would be 381 total yards of offense. Appalachian State's leading rusher was Nate Noel. He had 82 yards on 16 carries. Cameron Peoples had 58 yards on 7 carries as he had 2 touchdowns. Appalachian State's leading receiver was Malik Williams. He had 206 yards on 10 receptions as he had a touchdown. Corey Xavier Sutton would finish with 113 yards on 6 receptions as he had a touchdown for himself. On the defensive side of the ball, DeMarco Jackson would lead Appalachian State in tackles as he had 11. The team will combine for 3 sacks as well. And with this win, Appalachian State is 5-2. They are 2-1 in the Sun Belt. With this loss, 14th ranked Coastal Carolina is 6-1 as they are 2-1 in the Sun Belt as well. The last remaining team undefeated in the Sun Belt are the Louisiana Ragin' Cajuns, who are sitting at 3-0 in the conference as Coastal Carolina hope to be the last team to be undefeated in the division. But, of course, Appalachian State had other plans. Looking at what's going on today in college football, the 21st ranked SMU Mustangs are going to host Tulane on ESPN at 7:30. Taking a look at what's going on in the NFL today, the Cleveland Browns are going to host the Denver Broncos. Both of these teams are 3-3. The Browns are 2-1 at home. The Broncos are 2-1 on the road. And before we leave the States, just going to take a look at what's going on with the NBA. Starting with yesterday's matchup, starting in Charlotte, the Charlotte Hornets hosted the Indiana Pacers and were able to pull away with a 123-122 win. For the Indiana Pacers in this matchup, they were led in scoring by their starting power forward, their reigning all-star starting power forward, Domantas Sabonis. He finished with 33 points, 15 rebounds, and 6 turnovers in 39 minutes. Sabonis shot 13 for 19 from the field, 4 for 6 from 3, and 3 for 4 from the foul foul line. Their starting point guard, Malcolm Brogdon, would finish with 28 points and 11 assists in 40 minutes. He shot 8 for 20 from the field, 3 for 10 from 3, and a perfect 9 for 9 from the foul line. And also for Indiana, their shooting guard out of Oregon, Chris Duarte, would finish with 27 points and 5 rebounds in 33 minutes. Duarte shot 9 for 15 from the field, 6 for 9 from 3, and a perfect 3 for 3 from the line. For the Charlotte Hornets in this matchup, they were led in scoring by their elite starting point guard, LaMelo Ball. The reigning NBA Rookie of the Year finished with 31 points, 9 rebounds, 7 assists, and 2 steals. He did all this in 29 minutes as he shot 11 for 29 from the field, 7 for 9 from 3, and a perfect 2 for 2 from the foul line. Their starting small forward, Gordon Hayward, finished with 27 points and 5 rebounds in 37 minutes. He shot 10 for 22 from the field, 2 for 4 from 3, and 5 for 8 from the foul line. With this win, the Charlotte Hornets are 1-0 to start their season, and with this loss, the Indiana Pacers are now 0-1. Jumping out to Detroit, the Chicago Bulls were able to beat the Pistons 94-88. The Bulls were able to outscore the Pistons by 10 points in the second half to overcome their halftime deficit and pick up their first win of the year. For the Detroit Pistons, they were led in scoring by their starting small forward, Jeremy Grant. He finished with 24 points and 6 rebounds in 32 minutes. He shot 8 for 20 from the field, 3 for 5 from 3, and a perfect 5 for 5 from the foul line. For the Chicago Bulls, they were led by their starting shooting guard, Zach LaVine. Zach LaVine would finish with 34 points and 7 rebounds in 35 minutes. He shot 11 for 17 from the field and a perfect 11 for 11 from the foul line. With this win, the Chicago Bulls are 1-0, and with this loss, the Detroit Pistons are 0-1 to start their season. Jumping out to Madison Square Garden, the New York Knicks hosted the Boston Celtics, and the Knicks were able to beat the Celtics 138-134 in overtime in order to pick up this win. They won in 2 different overtimes in order to beat the Celtics. For the Boston Celtics in this matchup, they were led in scoring by their starting shooting guard out of Cal. Jaylen Brown would finish with 46 points, 9 rebounds, 6 assists, and 3 steals in 46 minutes as he shot 16 for 30 from the field, 8 for 14 from 3, and 6 for 8 from the foul line. Their elite starting small forward, Jason Tatum, would finish with 20 points, 11 rebounds, and 4 assists in 49 minutes as he shot 7 for 30 from the field, 2 for 15 from 3, and 4 for 5 from the foul line. For the New York Knicks, they were led in scoring by their starting power forward, Julius Randle. Randle finished with 35 points, 8 rebounds, 9 assists, and 3 blocks, alongside 7 turnovers in 46 minutes. Randle shot 12 for 27 from the field, 3 for 8 from 3, and a perfect 8 for 8 from the foul line. Their starting shooting guard, Evan Fournier, would finish with 32 points, 6 rebounds, and 4 steals in 44 minutes. Fournier shot 13 for 25 from the field and 6 for 13 from 3. Their elite starting point guard, Kemba Walker, would finish with 10 points, 8 rebounds, and 3 assists in 36 minutes. As the former Boston Celtics shot 13 for 25 from the field and 6 for 13 from 3. With this win, the New York Knicks are now 1-0, and with this loss, the Boston Celtics are 0-1. The next time these two teams are going to face off against one another will be in December. Jumping out to Toronto, the Raptors hosted the Washington Wizards. The Wizards were able to beat the Raptors 98-83. They would go on to outscore the Raptors by 8 points in the first quarter and 12 in the second quarter, outscoring them by 20 in the first half. For the Raptors, their leading scorer would end up being their shooting guard, Fred VanVleet, and their rookie small forward, Scotty Barnes. Both players finished with 12. Fred VanVleet finished with 12 points in 35 minutes, shooting 5 for 20 from the field. Scotty Barnes finished with 12 points and 9 rebounds alongside 6 turnovers, shooting 5 for 13 from the field. For the Washington Wizards, they were led in scoring by their elite starting shooting guard, Bradley Beal. Bradley Beal finished with 23 points, 3 rebounds, and 4 assists alongside 4 steals in 34 minutes. Beal shot 7 for 19 from the field, 1 for 6 from 3, and a perfect 8 for 8 from the foul line. Their center off the bench, Montrezl Harrell, would finish with 22 points and 9 rebounds in 26 minutes. He shot 9 for 11 from the field and 4 for 6 from the foul line. With this win, the Washington Wizards are 1-0, and with this loss, the Toronto Raptors are now 0-1. The next time these two teams will face off against one another will be in November. Jumping out to Memphis, the Memphis Grizzlies hosted the Cleveland Cavaliers for their NBA opening day. The Grizzlies would end up beating the Cavaliers 132-121. The Grizzlies outscored the Cavs by 12 in the second quarter, and they outscored them by another 7 in the fourth. For the Cavaliers in this matchup, they were led in scoring by their starting center from Texas, Jared Allen. Allen finished with 25 points, 3 steals, and 3 blocks in 29 minutes. He shot a perfect 11 for 11 from the field and 3 for 4 from the foul line. For the Memphis Grizzlies, they were led in scoring by their elite starting point guard, Ja Morant. He finished with 37 points, 6 rebounds, and 6 assists alongside 2 blocks in 34 minutes. He shot 17 for 29 from the field, 1 for 4 from 3, and a perfect 2 for 2 from the line. Their starting shooting guard, Desmond Bane, out of TCU, would go on to finish with 22 points and 2 steals in 30 minutes as he shot 8 for 16 from the field. He also shot 4 for 4 from the foul line on the night. Their starting shooting guard out of USC, DeAnthony Melton, would finish with 20 points in 31 minutes. He shot 8 for 14 from the field and 4 for 6 from 3. With this win, the Memphis Grizzlies now hold a 1-0 record, and with this loss, the Cavs are now 0-1. Jumping out to Minneapolis, the Minnesota Timberwolves hosted the Houston Rockets and were able to win their first game of the season. The Timberwolves beat the Rockets 124-106. They outscored the Rockets by 27 in the first half. And they just carried that momentum through the end of the game. For the Rockets, their leading scorer was their starting center, Christian Wood. He had 16 points and 9 rebounds in 32 minutes. For the Minnesota Timberwolves, they were led in scoring by their elite starting center, Karl Anthony Towns. He finished with 30 points, 10 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals, and 2 blocks. He did all this in 29 minutes. He shot 11 for 15 from the field, 3 for 4 from 3, and a perfect 5 for 5 from the line. Their starting small forward, Anthony Edwards, would finish with 29 points and 6 rebounds in 31 minutes. He shot 10 for 21 from the field, 6 for 12 from 3, and 3 for 4 from the foul line. Their elite point guard, D'Angelo Russell, would finish with 22 points, 3 rebounds, and 7 assists in 25 minutes, as Russell shot 6 for 16 from the field, 4 for 8 from 3, and 6 for 8 from the foul line. With this win, the Minnesota Timberwolves are 1-0. With this loss, the Houston Rockets are 0-1. The next time these two teams will face off against one another will be in January. Jumping out to New Orleans, the New Orleans Pelicans hosted the Philadelphia 76ers, last year's Eastern Conference regular season champs. The Sixers would end up beating the Pelicans 117-97 by 20 points. They outscored the Pelicans by 11 in the third and 9 in the fourth. They outscored them by 20 points in the second half after a relatively even first half. For the New Orleans Pelicans in this matchup, they were led in scoring by their elite starting small forward, Brandon Ingram. Ingram finished with 25 points, 7 rebounds, and 6 assists in 37 minutes. Ingram shot 12 for 26 from the field and 1 for 3 from 3. Their starting shooting guard, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, would finish with 23 points and 5 rebounds in 34 minutes. He shot 9 for 16 from the field, 4 for 8 from 3, and 1 for 2 from the foul line. For the Philadelphia 76ers in this matchup, they were led in scoring. They had 2 players. Off the bench, their shooting guard, Furkan Korkmaz, would finish with 22 points and 5 assists in 20 minutes. Korkmaz shot 7 for 11 from the field, 4 for 4 from 3, and a perfect 4 for 4 from the foul line. Their elite starting center out of Kansas, Joel Embiid, would finish with 22 points, 6 rebounds, and 5 assists in 26 minutes. Embiid shot 8 for 17 from the field, 2 for 3 from 3, and 4 for 6 from the foul line. Their starting power forward, Tobias Harris, would finish with 20 points and 12 rebounds in 28 minutes. He shot 8 for 16 from the field and 4 for 5 from the foul line. And their starting guard, Tyrese Maxey, would finish with 20 points, 7 rebounds, and 5 assists in 34 minutes. He shot 8 for 14 from the field, 2 for 3 from 3, and a perfect 2 for 2 from the foul line. With this win, the Philadelphia 76ers are 1-0. And with this loss, the New Orleans Pelicans are now 0-1 to start their seasons. Jumping out to San Antonio, the San Antonio Spurs hosted the Orlando Magic. The Spurs were able to beat the Magic 123-97. The Spurs outscored Orlando by 8 in the second quarter, by 11 in the third, by 19 points in the middle two quarters. For the Magic in this matchup, they were led in scoring by their starting center out of Texas, Mo Bamba. Bamba finished with 18 points in 27 minutes. For the San Antonio Spurs, they were led in scoring by their shooting guard off the bench, Devin Vassell. Vassell finished with 19 points, 5 assists, and a couple of steals in 25 minutes. He shot 8 for 12 from the field on the night. With this win, the San Antonio Spurs are 1-0. With this loss, the Orlando Magic are 0-1 on the 2021-22 season. Jumping out to Salt Lake City, last year's NBA's regular season champs, the Utah Jazz hosted the Oklahoma City Thunder, and the Jazz would end up beating the Thunder 107-86. They would end up outscoring Utah by 12 points in the first half, and they outscored them by 9 in the second. For the Thunder in this matchup, they were led in scoring by their starting shooting guard, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, out of Kentucky. He finished with 18 points in 33 minutes. For the Utah Jazz, they would go on to be led in scoring by their starting small forward, Bojan Bogdanovic. Bogdanovic finished with 22 points in 28 minutes. He would go on to shoot 10 for 17 from the field for the night. Their elite starting center, Rudy Gobert, would finish with 16 points in 21 rebounds in 29 minutes. He shot 6 for 9 from the field and 4 for 6 from the foul line. Their elite starting shooting guard, Donovan Mitchell, would finish with 16 points, 3 rebounds, 4 assists, and 2 steals in 28 minutes, as Mitchell shot 6 for 17 from the field, 3 for 10 from 3, and 1 for 1 from the foul line. With this win, the Utah Jazz are 1-0 to start their season, and with this loss, the OKC Thunder are 0-1. Their next matchup will be taking place next month on November 24th. Jumping out to Phoenix, the Phoenix Suns last year, or the reigning Western Conference champs, hosted the Denver Nuggets, and the team that featured the reigning 2021 MVP would end up beating the Suns 110-98 in revenge of their conference semifinal matchup. The Nuggets would end up beating the Suns 110-98. They would go on to outscore the Suns by 19 in the second half after they were outscored by a total of 7 in the first half. Taking a look at how that half went for both, how it went for both teams. But regardless, for the Phoenix Suns in their opening game, they were led in scoring by their starting small forward, Mikal Bridges. Mikal Bridges would finish with 16 points and 5 rebounds in 34 minutes, as he shot 7 for 16 from the field. Their elite starting point guard, Chris Paul, would finish with 15 points, 4 rebounds, 10 assists, and 2 steals in 34 minutes. He shot 6 for 11 from the field, 2 for 4 from 3, and 1 for 2 from the foul line. And then their elite starting shooting guard, Devin Booker, would finish with 12 points, 4 rebounds, and 4 assists in 30 minutes. Booker shot 3 for 15 from the field, 2 for 7 from 3, and a perfect 4 for 4 from the foul line. For the Denver Nuggets, they were led in scoring by their elite starting center, reigning NBA MVP Nikola Jokic. Jokic would finish the game with 27 points, 13 rebounds, a couple of assists, and a couple of steals in 35 minutes. He shot 13 for 22 from the field, and then their starting small forward, Will Barton, would finish with 20 points, 6 rebounds, and 5 assists in 34 minutes. Barton shot 8 for 14 from the field and 4 for 8 from the three-point line. With this win, the Denver Nuggets are 1-0. They are 1-0 to start, or they're 1-0 to start their season. And with this loss, the Phoenix Suns are 0-1. Game 2 between these two teams will be played next month. Last but not least, jumping out to Portland, the Trailblazers hosted the Sacramento Kings, and the Kings were able to beat the Portland Trailblazers 124-121. Very close game, but Sacramento outscored Portland by 13 in the first half, and that would end up being the difference that gave them the win. For the Portland Trailblazers in this matchup, they were led in scoring by their starting shooting guard, CJ McCollum. McCollum would finish with 34 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, and 3 steals, alongside 5 turnovers in 35 minutes. He shot 14 for 24 from the field and 6 for 11 from 3. Their elite starting point guard, Damian Lillard, would finish with 20 points, 6 rebounds, and 11 assists in 40 minutes. He shot 8 for 24 from the field and 4 for 5 from the foul line. And also their starting center, Yusuf Nurkic, would finish with 20 points, 14 rebounds, and a couple of assists of his own in 29 minutes. He shot 6 for 10 from the field, 1 for 1 from 3, and he shot a perfect 7 for 7 from the foul line. For the Sacramento Kings in this matchup, they were led in scoring by their starting point guard, De'Aaron Fox, out of Kentucky. Fox finished with 27 points, 5 rebounds, and 8 assists, alongside 5 turnovers and 5 fouls in 36 minutes. De'Aaron Fox shot 9 for 22 from the field, and he shot 7 for 10 from the foul line. They were actually led in scoring by their starting small forward, Harrison Barnes. Harrison Barnes finished with 36 points and 9 rebounds alongside 2 steals in 37 minutes. Barnes shot 10 for 19 from the field, 8 for 11 from 3, and 8 for 9 from the foul line. Also for the Kings, their starting center, Richaun Holmes, would finish with 21 points, 11 rebounds, and 2 assists in 29 minutes, and 2 blocks. Holmes would finish shooting 9 for 10 from the field, 1 for 1 from 3, and 2 for 3 from the foul line. With this win, the Sacramento Kings are 1-0, and with this loss, the Trailblazers are 0-1. Game 2 between these teams is going to take place next month, and this is what the NBA is looking like following yesterday's matchups. Looking forward to what is going on today. At 7:30 on TNT, the Atlanta Hawks are going to host the Dallas Mavericks, as of course the two people that were traded for each other in the 2018 draft, Trae Young and Luka Doncic, are going to face off against one another, as neither team has played a game yet. At 10 o'clock, the other primetime matchup on TNT will feature the 1-0 Golden State Warriors and the Los Angeles Clippers, who still have yet to win a game. And then at 8 o'clock, not on primetime, the Miami Heat are going to face off against the Milwaukee Bucks, as the reigning champs look to start off their season 2-0. That's what the NBA is looking like. Taking a look at what's going on with the Champions League as we leave the United States to see what's going on in Europe. Going group by group, starting with Group E, the reigning Bundesliga champs Bayern Munich faced off against Benfica from Portugal and were able to pull off a 4-0 win. They would get their first goal from their elite German forward Leroy Sané. Their second goal will come off of a Benfica own goal. Robert Lewandowski would score the third goal in the 82nd minute, and then Leroy Sané scored in the 84th minute to finish off his brace. With this win, halfway through group stage, Bayern Munich is sitting on top of the table with 9 points. And with this loss, Benfica is still sitting second in Group E with 4 points, as they've won, drawn, and lost a game so far. Looking at the other game in Group E, Barcelona hosted Dynamo Kiev and were able to pick up a 1-0 win at home. Their 36-minute goal coming off of the foot of Shakira's husband, Gerard Piqué, scoring in the 36th minute. And with this win, Barcelona now sits third in Group E with 3 points. They've only won 1 game out of their 3. They've lost the other 2. And Dynamo Kiev now holds 1 point as they sit at the very bottom of Group E at this point of the table. Looking at Group F, the reigning Europa League champs Villarreal faced off against Young Boys in Switzerland. Villarreal was able to pull away with the 4-1 win. First goal coming from Pino, and then Moreno would finish off, Moreno will score in the 16th minute. After Elia scored for Young Boys to get their only goal of the game, Moreno would score in the 88th minute, and Chukwueze would score for Villarreal to make it a 3-goal deficit and to give them 3 points in the table. With this win, Villarreal now sits third in Group F as they hold 4 points. As they are sitting alongside Atalanta. Young Boys is sitting at the very bottom of this group as they have only won 1 matchup so far. And then taking a look at what's going on with the other matchup in the stage, Manchester United hosted Atalanta and were able to pull away a home win. Atalanta scored the very first 2 goals of the game in the first half. It was 2-0 at halftime. For Manchester United, they would come back. Marcus Rashford, Manchester United's elite English forward, would score in the 53rd minute to shorten the deficit. Harry Maguire would tie the game up in the 75th minute with a goal, and then they would get a goal in the 81st minute off of a header from their goated Portuguese forward Cristiano Ronaldo to give Manchester United what they needed to win the game and get them the 3 points. With this win, Manchester United is sitting on top of Group F as they have 6 points. They've only lost one game so far, and that was to Young Boys. And with this loss, Atalanta now sits 1-1-1 as they've won, they've drawn, and they've lost a match so far. And that's what Group F is looking like. Taking a look at Group G, the reigning French champs, Lille drew versus Sevilla. That game was 0-0. With this draw, Sevilla now sits second in the table because they've drawn all 3 of their games so far in Champions League. Lille has drawn 2 games and they've lost 1, so they only have 2 points. They're sitting with Wolfsburg at the bottom of the table. Looking at the other matchup that took place in Group G, RB Salzburg was able to beat Wolfsburg 3-1. Their first goal coming from Karim Adeyemi. Wolfsburg would tie it up in the 15th minute, but Salzburg would get 2 goals from Okafor in the second half to give them their win. Salzburg is sitting pretty comfortably at the top of Group G with 7 points. They've won 2 games and they've drawn. They have yet to lose. And then Wolfsburg is sitting with Lille at the bottom of Group G as they've both drawn 2 games and lost 1. Taking a look, last but not least, at what's going on with Group H, the reigning Champions League winners, Chelsea, were able to defeat Malmo from Sweden in order to win this game. They got 2 goals off of penalties from Jorginho. Christensen scored their first goal in the 9th minute, and then their third goal will come from their elite German attacking midfielder Kai Havertz. With this win, Chelsea is now sitting second in the Group H table, as Malmo sits at the bottom. Malmo has yet to win. Chelsea has 2 wins and a loss. Looking at the other matchup from this group, Juventus was able to beat Zenit St. Petersburg in Russia 1-0, as Juventus' only goal would come off of a header from Kulusevski in the 86th minute. And with that win, Juventus is undefeated. They've won all 3 of their games in the Champions League group stage so far, so they sit at the very top, right above Chelsea, above Zenit, and above Malmo. Zenit sits third as they've only won 1 of their 3 games. They've lost the other 2. So that is what Champions League is looking like at the moment. Taking a look at what soccer is looking like today. Today is just it's mainly Europa League group stage matches. This Lazio is going to face off against Marseille. That's the main matchup that many people are going to be looking forward to. Also, Napoli is going to face off against Legia Warsaw, as Napoli's been playing amazingly in Serie A this year. But that's pretty much what's going on. And as we navigate through soccer day by day, I'll continually update you with what's going on. And with that said, I want to thank everybody for listening to all 32 minutes of this piece. I want to thank the NBA, NFL, college football, FIFA, and MLB websites for giving me what I needed in order to complete this episode. I do apologize for any of the names that I butchered, and I do thank everyone once again for listening. I hope all is well. And once this is over, I will do an episode comprising of where the Champions League sits right now. But with that said, I want to thank everyone. I hope all is well, and I'll catch you with more tomorrow. Until then, peace out, and I'll catch you then.